What's this strange... What's this strange environment we're in? Uh-oh. Space helmet going on. Maya, I think we should wear our space helmets in here. Are you mad, woman? You don't know what this alien environment is like? I've had it with you too. Oh, I guess I don't need a helmet, considering that I'm in my media room and not out in the far reaches of space. But it is a stylish helmet now, huh? You can thank my wife Takako for helmet construction and design. In case you haven't guessed it, I'm here to talk about the 3D Blu-ray release of Prometheus, Ridley Scott's answer to the question, what would an Alien prequel look like if it was also kind of a remake and it wasn't really about aliens at all? And this is it. I mean, some people are pro-Prometheus and some people are no-Metheus. Is it a love it or hate it experience? It's not really. It's kind of both. I mean, there's things I love, there's things I hate. I love the feeling that you get when you're watching it. And it's like you're going inside this like never been touched King Tut's tomb of alien mythology, you know, like not alien necessarily as in the movie Alien, but just alien as in like it has no earthly reference point. In space, no one can hear you. Giggle, 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 giggle. You know, my wife doesn't like space. She just doesn't like space movies. But for some reason, when she saw this one, her jaw was on the floor, and it didn't come off the floor until the credits rolled. I mean, it felt like you were in that ocean of stars. It was amazing. You know, there's a lot to nitpick about this movie. You can look at that scene where the giant ship, the donut, is coming down on Vickers and Shaw, and Charlize Theron is just running straight in a line, and the whole audience is going, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" But the fact of the matter is that if a skyscraper were falling on you, you wouldn't know what is up and what is down. You know, this is an ant, and that's the boot, and the ant does not understand the relative size or complexity of the boot. It's just there to be squished, and that's what we get, the helplessness, the powerlessness of man. You know, humankind is reduced to this little tiny speck underneath that giant thing. And Shaw survives, but you know, she survives because of faith. You know, she has that scene where she holds on to that thing. And I think the people have really overcomplicated it with thought.
Okay.
I'm just tweaking the spoiler alert. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this because there's a lot to discuss. The questions will be answered, and I'm going to answer some of them right now. One of the questions that has to be answered is, why did they remove all of these deleted scenes? Because they are integral to understanding the movie. There's actually a scene where the engineer speaks to David, and David interprets what Wayland says back to him, and it makes total sense why the engineer would kill this haughty motherfucker. I mean, he just... It's ridiculous that they took that scene out, because now it just looks like a Futurama episode where the engineer just gets really cranky and rips his head off and beats him to death because he's like, ha ha ha. But there's sort of a poetic irony to the way that he beats him to death with the same thing he created in the extended edition. Well, there is no extended edition, but in the deleted scenes for what will hopefully be an extended edition. There's also scenes between Shaw and Holloway where you start to really understand why, what the gulf in their beliefs is, you know. And they give Shaw a backstory that made a lot more sense because they show you the dream, right? With her and her father at some kind of outbreak. Well, that comes into play when she has to diagnose her own, like, lover and she has to diagnose the situation that's happening with Holloway and with the crew, like, taking their helmets off and being idiots. Like, all of that is addressed in this version. Also addressed, the biologist. The biologist was there in the black goo playing with worms. He thought they were harmless. He saw them as infants, and he thought, you know what, these worms are cool. they're cool, and he was right there in the muck with them, and then later in the movie when he sees them all grown up, he's like, hey, come here, come here. But without that scene of him like seeing the young muck worms, it doesn't work. One thing that's misunderstood about this movie, I think, is that there is no definitive answer to anything, and it's on purpose, because what you do is you get a lot of different opinions about what might be happening or what the purpose of things might be, but these people are just guessing. No one comes out and says what anything is at any point and has the authority to say it. Are these people gods? Did they make us? Or are those things at the beginning of the movie? Is that engineer that sacrifices himself to create life on Earth? Is he a rogue sect of some larger culture? And you never get that answer. But people act like we got that answer.
All your base are belong to nerds.